stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grandy.
Let's be clear, this is no small part about paying our bills that were accumulated not by me, not by my administration, but by former presidents and previous Congresses.
Yeah, he didn't have anything to do with the debt. No, or the bills, the national debt, always everybody else, not him. Hi, welcome to Phil's Gang. You know, it's amazing, isn't it? How could he say something like that? How could he say something like that? If we go back to 2021 to 2023, under his administration, our country and our economy ended up with the highest sustained level, record spending, tax hikes, deficits, and debt. What are you, nuts? How did that that just magically happened while he was president between 2021 and 2023? He said nothing to do with him. Well, who was president then? I'm look it up. It's the highest sustained level of spending, tax hikes, deficits, and debt. Record spending, let's talk about that. $73 trillion. Oh, and don't forget the current. He spent another $7 trillion over 22 months. $7 trillion in 22 months. But remember, it's 10-year budget here. He has $73 trillion record spending, record tax hikes, $58 trillion, record deficits, $15 trillion deficits. You got to pay for those, and we're broke. We don't have any money. Now, what about all the toys? The spending going wild. It had nothing to do with him? Did the infrastructure bill have something to do with him? That was $400 billion. The Inflation Reduction Act, didn't that have something to do, or that was all somebody else? August 2022, that was another $748 billion. Now we go on and on. How about the American Rescue Plan? That's the big one. That's the one that really hit us. Because that included all the stimulus checks, the extra unemployment checks. Remember, you got an unemployment check from the state. Now you got an extra unemployment check from the feds. Child tax credits. Remember all that? That added about $2 trillion to our national debt. But that wasn't him. How about Ukraine? $75 billion. But that wasn't him either. It was somebody else in a seat. How about the new Green Bill? Wow. New Green Bill. That's where his support comes from. He takes care of them. You know that crew. Bernie Sanders. Then you got AOC. Then you got, what's the other senator's name? I can't think of his name. But that, and that's, Ukraine was $75 trillion. Now going back to the new Green Deal, that was $50 billion, and now they want more money. Listen to this. This was great. This was during a hearing. Let's see if I can find it. During the hearing, Senator Kennedy, I love him. He's great. He's asking the guy ahead of all this, what do you need the money for? David Turk, Secretary David Turk. What do you need the money for? Listen to this.
Maybe I'm not being clear. If we spent $50 trillion to become carbon neutral by 2050 in the United States of America, how much is that going to reduce world temperatures?
This is a global problem, so we need to reduce our emissions, and we need to do everything we can.
How much, if we do our part, is it going to reduce world temperatures?
So we're 13% of global emissions.
You don't know, do you? You don't know, do you?
You can do the math. We need to.
You don't know, do you, Mr. Secretary?
So we're 13% of
If you know, why won't you tell me?
If we went to zero, that would be 13%.
You don't know, do you? You just want us to spend $50 trillion.
50 trillion.
And you don't have the slightest idea whether it's going to reduce world temperatures.
50 trillion. Now, that's on top of the 50 billion. Well, who was in charge? Who was president? But what are they going to do? They're going to blame Trump for all this? 50 trillion on top of the 50 billion. 50 trillion. We don't have 50 trillion. We don't have 50 cents. We have a negative net worth. That's right. Our country's broke. We have a negative net worth. We have to borrow everything. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So again, when I play this, it wasn't me.
Let's be clear. This is no small part about paying our bills that were accumulated not by me, not by my administration, but by former presidents and previous Congress.
Yeah, he had nothing to do with Ukraine. He had nothing to do with the $50 billion he gave AOC and Markin. Senator Markin, is it Markin? Nothing to do with Ukraine, nothing to do with the new Green Bill, nothing to do with this guy here with Kennedy. No, that's not his idea either. It's just amazing. So why am I talking about this? Because, people are wondering, why is it, I've been pointing out every day to my members, the market hasn't gone anywhere in 2 years. And most people don't realize that until you point it out on a chart. When I get back from break, I'll put up a chart for those who are following me online, and you'll see it. We haven't gone anywhere in 2 years. Why? Because of inflation. Remember, during this inflation, what inflated was stock prices. No one's going to sit there and pay $19 a share for $1 of earnings when they should only be paying $8 a share. Nobody's going to pay that. That's why we can't break out. We went up, remember, with a 38% drop, and then we went up about 15%, and we've been laying there at 15%. We've been dead, and then they tried to move it up. Remember, with pushing up Meta. Remember, we had the 500-point rally, the Dow, and then they tried to push up Apple. We had another 500-point rally, but again, unless you have those Qs hit 330 and hold 330 for at least 2 weeks with good solid volume. You notice that our gold is right now, we're holding pretty well, just a little bit above 2,000. It looks like that 2,000 is a base right now. But the Qs, you got to get to 330 on these Qs. You got to get on the spiders to 430. But it's not just good enough to get there, hit and bounce off. No, you got to stay there for 2 weeks. Well, who's going to come in and buy those? Who's going to buy? The institutions aren't going to buy. So, and plus, remember, this has created inflation. The infrastructure bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, the American Rescue Plan, Ukraine $75 billion, New Green $50 billion, not counting the $62 trillion they want. The record deficits, $15 trillion. The record tax hikes, $58 trillion. This is all inflation. And do you realize we've been fighting inflation for 8 years? 8 years. And we still have lost the war, but they won't admit it. We've lost the war to inflation. If you take the rate hikes over 8 years, from 0 to 5.25%, do you realize averaging them out, they're not even a half? They're just under a half and a little bit above a quarter. That's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. Rates have got to be much higher to kill inflation. And this is where your inflation comes. But we're trying to figure out who it comes from. Because the president said it doesn't come from him. It's all the other guys. So we're trying to find out who. It's a mystery. It's a big mystery. We'll be right back after this break. Join my gang, philsgang.com, free for 10 days.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Remember, when this market crashed in 2009, it should have never crashed because the chairperson of these two committees, their job was to protect protect consumers, protect our investments, and they're supposed to ensure that our investments are being monitored. Where were they in 2009 and 2008? They weren't anywhere because they don't do that. They take care of themselves. They protect themselves. They become richer. So you can't depend on these crooks in Congress. The stock market is a great place to be, but you just got to know this is a different market than your grandfather's market. So why don't you, for 30 days, join my gang, 877-600-GANG. Try it for 30 days, $39.95. Follow me. I tell you when to buy, when to sell, when to add, and when to run like hell. All I ask you, start making money. Please remember St. Jude.
Don't wait. Join Phil's Gang today and make profits. Go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. With the philsgang.com membership, we bring investors right to the floor, into the pits with Phil's daily live webinar classroom. Get inside market guidance on investing strategies. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Don't have time to analyze and study stocks? At philsgang.com, we recognize that there are all types of investors, and we also recognize that your time is valuable. So we offer investing programs for all individuals. We offer investing programs for long-term and short-term positions. And philsgang.com provides quick and easy to understand investing videos that only take a few minutes to watch. With the philsgang.com investing programs, you will learn technical stock charting, how to execute your trades, and most importantly, you will gain the confidence to know when to get out of a stock and take profits. Sign up at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or give them a call, 877-600-GANG. Good investing means understanding how the stock market works.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, if you really want to make sense of this market, you can't be listening to the fake Business News Network. They will not tell you the truth. They're to get you excited, to make sure you go out and you're happy so you'll buy something. That's not what we do here at Phil's Gang. We give you the truth, the direction, and that's what you need. Listen to me on my radio show each day and also on my Rumble and YouTube channel podcast. philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
With the philsgang.com membership, we bring investors right to the floor, into the pits with Phil's daily live webinar classroom. Get inside market guidance on investing strategies. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Don't have time to analyze and study stocks? At philsgang.com, we recognize that there are all types of investors, and we also recognize that your time is valuable. So we offer investing programs for all individuals. We offer investing programs for long-term and short-term positions. And philsgang.com provides quick and easy to understand investing videos that only take a few minutes to watch. With the philsgang.com investing programs, you will learn technical stock charting, how to execute your trades, and most importantly, you will gain the confidence to know when to get out of a stock and take profits. Sign up at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or give them a call, 877-600-GANG.
Warning. Google, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, Facebook, all these hot stocks are going to crash. They're going to drop as much as 60-70%. Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. Exactly what happened in the dot-com days is going to repeat itself. Remember, 85% of people lose money in the stock market because they don't know when to get out. I fixed that with my color code technology chart. It tells you when to buy, when to sell, when to add, and when to run like hell. That's right. Make sure you check it out. It's free for 10 days. philsgang.com.
I believe that every single human being with a laptop computer and an internet connection should be required to give trading at least a shot.
Following Bill, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life.
I believe that every educated individual on planet Earth.
I would recommend Phil's Gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents.
Should do this. It's not for every single human being on Earth. I know this. But it's one of those things that you should try, because if you happen to get it right, if you happen to be one of the ones that this is for.
Follow the money. Follow Phil Grandy.
Oh my God.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. That's right, philsgang.com. Join my gang for 10 days. It's free.
What's in front of you is a life of incredible joy, freedom, and independence.
philsgang.com.
back to the Phil's Gang radio show. Want to know more about Phil's Gang? Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
Welcome back to Phil's Game. You can listen to us on Rumble, Apple, Facebook, and Instagram, YouTube. And we have these little segments. They're called little short segments. They're 1 minute. And you can find those on Instagram and YouTube. And people really enjoy them. So you could just check it out. Go to philsgang.com and go to where it says short. They're little short segments. If you want to join the gang, you can join the gang, and it's free for the first 10 days, and you're going to learn, okay, how the market really works. You're going to understand how the yields work, so you never have to ask again, what do you think the market's going to do? Most people don't know when to buy a stock, or they don't know what stock to buy. Do I buy tech? Do I buy banks? Do I buy staples? Well, if you knew what a yield meant and if you understood yields, the bond market, the yields, you wouldn't have that question. And then with our color-coded chart that turns red, if there's not enough money, that means that stock's not going to go up, so it's going to save your butt because it turns red. Or if you're ready to buy it and it turns green, then you buy. If it's red, that means money's coming out, so you turn around and sell short. And we're going to show you how to sell short. I mean, we have an excellent program, an educational program. Check it out. Just go to philsgang.com. Everything's archived. Don't have to be there during the day. And you're going to learn how to stay with just 6 stocks all year. You can follow our 6-stock portfolio and a couple ETFs. And then we have a bonus group. We stay in the same bonus stocks. We have 15 bonus stocks. That means we have the best tech, the best banks, and the best staples and discretionary, the very, very best. And that's all we look at all year. And from that bonus stock, we developed our portfolio of 2 ETFs. We're always in the spiders and the Qs, and we have 6 individual stocks, top stocks, and our bonus stocks are all top. We have the 5 best tech stocks, 5 best banks, and the 5 best staples. So check it out. Go to philsgang.com. So I just put up for you my chart. I want to show you. Most people don't understand what's going on. First of all, what people don't understand is we have lost the battle of inflation. Now, the president can say he had nothing to do with, all the bills and all the problems we've been having, but he has. We know that. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. That's on his watch. Okay? So the reason that the market's not going anywhere, and you can see on my chart, for 2 years. Remember, the market dropped. Let me just put this up here. If you're on my site, you can see the chart. Remember, the market dropped in 2021. It dropped 38% after going up for 13 years. 13 years, because 13 years was free money. And that's why we're in trouble right now, because you got the highest corporate debt ever, because everybody was borrowing money free. The corporations buying their own shares to push their stocks up, all fake. And all these corporations now are stuck. They got money for 2%. Remember, the money was at 0. The Fed would give it to the bank at 0. Then the Fed would charge them. Then the bank would charge their customers 2%, because that was the big, because it was 0 rates. But now they're in big trouble, especially commercial, because of the rates are at 5.25. Now add 2 to that. A lot of these corporations can't pay it back. And this is why, if you look here, we haven't gone anywhere in 2 years. It's called our 50% rule. Here's the top. This is after a 13-year, 1,200% run in the NASDAQ and a 350% run in the S&P. And it stopped because they stopped with QE, no more 0 interest rates. That's the high. And then when it dropped 38%, they put in an artificial low. They bounced up about 15, 20% and stopped. The whole year we've been going sideways and going up and down, going sideways, because the big institutions who drive the market up, they're not here to buy. They're not going to overpay for stocks rather. They're not going to pay $19 a share for every $1 of earnings when they should be paying for that share maybe $8. So here's the proof we're not going anywhere. And what is that? See those white arrows? That all happened because of inflation. Now, inflation hasn't been fixed in 5 years, 7 years. 7 years. Remember, Yellen started to raise rates in 2015 because she saw how bad inflation was. And they lied and they said, oh, it's transitory. And then Powell comes in, he saw in 2018. But here's what everybody is missing and why it can't be fixed, why inflation's getting worse. Because think about it. For all those years, if you take about the 18 rate hikes, okay, over 8 years, you know what that averages out? To 0.39, just a little bit than a quarter. That's not enough. You can't fight inflation with that. But here's the real problem, and they won't admit it. They won't admit it. And here you got all these geniuses. Think about it. You got Powell, right? He's from Princeton. He has a doctorate at Georgetown. You got Yellen. She graduated from Brown University. And then she got a PhD from Yale. But here's what they don't understand. They're educated nincompoops. Inflation, they keep saying, we got to stop wages. We got to keep raising interest rates, because if we keep raising interest rates, corporations will see that expense. They can't pay it, so they'll lay people off. If we lay people off, that means they won't be having wages coming in, or at least they'll have unemployment, but they won't have wages, and they won't consume, and inflation's going to go down. That is not how it works. I mean, I can't believe they've gone to Yale and Princeton, and I never even graduated from high school, and I know how it works. Why? Because I had my own business. This is amazing. So we get back from the break, I'm going to explain to you why inflation is going to get worse, why they can't fix it, and that's going to cost us this market to go down at least another 20, 30%, if not more. And when I tell you what it is, you're not going to believe it. It's so simple, but they can't fix it.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. You can be a successful investor in the stock market by knowing what the market is going to do.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. God, you go nuts listening to these shows on TV, Kramer, any of them. I mean, they're giving you total garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. One day they tell you, buy this stock. Next day, don't buy this stock. Then you have two people on the show. One guy saying buy it, the other guy says don't buy it. So the question is, what the hell do you do? Well, we don't have questions here at Phil's Gang. And they never have to ask the question, what do you think the market's going to do? My members always know what the market's going to do because they've learned how to follow the money. That's right. Follow the money. You don't follow fundamentals. You follow the money. And what is that? That's volume. That's the buyers and the sellers. And the other thing, you got to learn how to sell a stock as well as buy a stock.
Follow the money. Follow Phil Grandy.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Go to my podcast, YouTube, and Rumble every day. That's philsgang.com.
When you listen to the advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard. Things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand, especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy. Is your business prepared to respond to any emergency in the workplace? Well, you better be. Let over 30 years of law enforcement experience go to work for you. Boyd Investigative Group is here for all your business security needs. I know. I use them. They're terrific. Call today for your free confidential consultation. 941-724-4535. That's 941-724-4535. Or visit them on the website, boydinvestigativegroup.com.
License number A1900020.
When you listen to the advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard, things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand, especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Short on time but want to invest in the stock market? Let philsgang.com help you. For only $39.95 a month, you get complete access to all of Phil's powerful investing programs, videos, and resources.
That works for me. Log in, watch the videos, and make profits.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. philsgang.com. If you want to invest your money and grow your wealth, listen to this.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. I get so tired of listening to the same garbage every day, listening to the fake business news network telling you why you should buy this stock, why you should buy, and they're always wrong. Join my gang, philsgang.com, free for 10 days. You're going to learn when to buy a stock and when not to buy a stock. Hey, years ago it was different. You could buy a stock based on fundamentals. You could buy a stock based on earnings. You could buy a stock based on PE ratios. Those days are gone. That ended with QE. That ended when they financially engineered the market in 2008. Gone. Now you got to follow the money. And we have the knowledge because we have the chart. Pro 2 color-coded chart tells you when to buy, when to sell, when to run like hell.
For a limited time, you can join Phil's Gang free for 10 days.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Get the truth, get the knowledge, and understand how the market really works.
Welcome back. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. Okay, so this is why the market has a higher probability of dropping another 30 to 50% rather than going higher. I just showed you a chart. If you took the high of 2021 and the low of 2021, draw a line in half, and you'll see the market has been going sideways for 2 years. We haven't gone anywhere in 2 years. And the past year, all you see is under that 50% line, all we're doing is going up and down, up and down. That's it. Why? Because of inflation. They can't fight inflation because they're fighting the wrong thing. Inflation doesn't come from wages. They keep saying, these educated nincompoops, inflation comes from wages. No, inflation comes from profits. It comes from pricing power. Even Coca-Cola, when they came out with their earnings, said, oh, look at this. They told everybody on the conference call, we have terrific pricing power, which means they can screw the customers. They can screw their own customers because that staples, people need that stuff, like Clorox, and they got the pricing power. They can push the pricing up. So in other words, the rule of thumb used to be, and when I ran a public company, and I started two of them and brought them public. And the rule of thumb would be, if you have earnings, let's say your earnings come in at 6%, then you can push your prices up by 12 to 13%. It's almost double. So corporations, okay, if you take over the last 2 years, corporate profits have increased 80%. They went from like 1.2 trillion to 2. They went from 1 trillion to 2 trillion, something like that. But the number to remember is if when your earnings come in, if your profits are 6%, you can use that power that you have, pricing power, 12%. So the consumer is getting hurt by corporations, by their profits. So you got Powell working the opposite end, trying to raise rates, and the only corporations they're hurting by raising rates and trying to get you to fire people is small mom and pop businesses on Main Street. They get hurt, not the big corporations, because of the scale. So the small business gets screwed, the consumer gets screwed, and it's the inflation, the pricing power. That's why they are losing this fight, because these corporations are making more and more profits, especially during that pandemic, for God's sakes, when prices went through the roof, and they're still up there. So when you hear from Powell, wages are the problem. That's inflationary. We got to get wages down. Those wages got to get down. But he also talks out both sides of his mouth. Powell, on one side, will say, well, wages, we need strong wages and all this crap. And he doesn't mean it. He wants businesses to cut payrolls. That's what he's looking for. Cut payrolls. Ever notice how yields go up, 10-year Treasury yields go up, which means when yields go up, everybody's happy, right? Yields go up. When they talk about the job numbers came in and everybody would ask, how come if they said we lost 100,000 jobs, why did the stock market go up? That's good news. That's good news, according to Powell. That means if we lose 100,000 jobs, that means there's 100,000 people aren't going to get wages. That means 100,000 people aren't going to be out consuming. That means there's not going to be inflation. While he's fighting that, on his flank, you have General Patton, for God's sakes, coming in. And that's profits. Now, you would think these educated people would know that. Well, they do know that. But they're not going to do anything to hurt large corporations. They're certainly not going to set pricing like Jimmy Carter did, remember? Carter set prices. And remember, it's the large corporations who fund, right, most of these politicians. That's where they get a lot of their funding from, the large politicians. So the corporations are doing just fine. It's the small business, the backbone of our nation, is not doing fine. So just remember that. I also want to show you, do you remember a few weeks ago I said I'm going to track this? I said we're going to short the opposite of what Jim Cramer says. Jim Cramer, about 2 weeks ago, I think it was, if I can find here's what he said there was on April 19th. Here's what he said. I said, we're going to take the short side of this trade.
I agree with you. It's bottoming. It's got a 3.2% yield. Karen Lynch is doing a great job. 9 times earnings. Let's pull the trigger and buy some CVS.
You get what the hell he said? Here, I think he said Karen's doing a great job. He's good friends with Karen, the CEO, and they got yields of 2%, whatever the hell that means, right?
I agree with you. It's bottoming. It's got a 3.2% yield. Karen.
It's bottoming. He said it was bottoming. CVS. But all right, go look at the chart. I got it up. If you're following me on my YouTube channel here, look at this. See the white arrow? That's where he said to buy it. Now, why would you buy it when my color-coded chart is solid red? It's telling you money is pouring out. Institutions are pulling money out. See the arrow? That's where he recommended to buy it. Because of Carol, I guess she's doing a good job, the CEO. Really. So he's got her, now he's down, the client he was talking to is now out of pocket 7%. 7% already. Where we shorted it and we're making money on it. Remember I said I'll take the opposite of what he's doing. And how could I not? Look at my color-coded chart, solid red. telling you there's more money going out than in. That's why it's important to join our gang, because, again, you're going to get used to using this chart, the color-coded chart. When it's green, it tells you money's going in. When it's red, it's telling you money's coming out. When it's yellow, it's telling you that there's a split, so just do nothing. If you use that and then you learn how to use your yields so that you know when yields go up, of the 11 sectors, which sector should you be in when yields are up, which sector you should be in when yields are down, and we'll help you with that. I think we got the best school around, okay, to learn how to invest. So that's what's going on right now. So that's why things are going to get worse. They're not going to get better. And remember, they haven't stopped spending. I mean, this war in Ukraine, there's going to be even more spending. And remember, we have to borrow every penny we spend. Every penny we spend. Now, the other problem we're getting is we're getting strong messages from our trade deficit and strong messages from our durable goods that bad things are ahead. Remember, the market's forward-looking. And if you have bad durable goods orders, which means they're the big items that last 6 years, 3 years, like big screen TVs, appliances. Those orders are so far down, those orders are so small that kills the economy. That's one of the best indicators, durable goods. And it's forward-looking. Durable goods orders are forward. If you order a washing machine and dryer, remember that order's set forward. So we're talking months forward. It looks terrible for this country. Trade deficit also gives you a great message from the market. The trade deficit is looking forward. It is telling you what's going on. And if we are importing more than we're exporting, we're taking our jobs and giving them to overseas. They get a job overseas while we're sitting here collecting unemployment. And the trade deficit's getting worse. We're almost at $1 trillion. It's almost historic trade deficit. Trade deficit is a cancer. Trade deficit is like equal to a stage 4 cancer in the stock market. But they never want to talk about trade deficits because they know how bad they are. But take a look at my chart. I still have it up on CVS. That's how we knew to short it when he bought it. So Kramer's getting clobbered and his client's getting clobbered. And we're doing just fine, thank you, by shorting it because the color-coded chart told us to because it was solid red. Check it out, philsgang.com. It's free.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
What, are you nuts? If the stock market can make you so rich, especially Apple and Microsoft and Google and Amazon and the rest, why are so many Americans poor? If the 401k promises you a retirement, then why is it we are in a retirement crisis? Here's the answer. Because 85% of you get out of the market too late. I fixed that with my color-coded chart, which tells you when to buy, when to sell, and when to get out. That's right, when to run like hell. Check it out. You get a free membership and the free color-coded chart for 10 days. Check it out, philsgang.com.
Want the truth when investing in the stock market? Here's how.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. Listen to my radio show every day because that's where you're going to get the truth. You're not going to get the truth listening to these dopes on Fake Business News Network. The other day, Kramer said, don't listen to the banks. They're giving you wrong information. When he told you to buy Merrill Lynch, remember? And what happened? They went broke.
Get the truth at philsgang.com.
Join my gang, philsgang.com. Get the truth. And also listen to me on my podcast on YouTube and Rumble. That's philsgang.com.
I believe that every single human being with a laptop computer and an internet connection should be required to give trading at least a shot.
Following Bill, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life.
I believe that every educated individual on planet Earth.
I would recommend Phil's gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents.
Should do this. It's not for every single human being on Earth. I know this, but it's one of those things that you should try because if you happen to get it right, if you happen to be one of the ones that this is for.
Follow the money. Follow Phil Grandy.
Oh my God.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. That's right, philsgang.com. Join my gang for 10 days. It's free.
What's in front of you is a life of incredible joy, freedom, and independence.
Why are investors listening to Phil Grandy of philsgang.com?
You know why people listen to my show? Because I make it simple. When you talk about the stock market, they make it so complicated. I make it easy to understand. For the average investor, the Main Street investor, most of the time, these guys, like they're talking to each other. We talk directly to you and we listen to you.
Invest better with the sound advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from. All that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, I've been doing this business of trading over 55 years. God, they make it so complicated. It doesn't have to be. The best way to learn is to follow me, my actual investments. That's right. When I buy a stock, you follow me. Do exactly what I do. That's the best way to learn.
Check out the free 10-day trial. Learn more at philsgang.com.
Be my co-pilot at philsgang.com. Do what I do.
That's philsgang.com. Welcome back. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
Hey, good afternoon, gang. It's Steve Celeste here with philsgang.com. Just wanted to tell you how to get engaged with Phil's Gang and how to become part of the Phil's Gang membership or how to try us for 10 days free. Simply go to philsgang.com. That's www.philsgang.com and click on Get Started at the top of the website. Click on the big red banner that says Working Investor 10-day free trial, and that's all you got to do. And hey, while you're at the website, why not stop by our gift shop, see if there's something in there for you or for somebody you know. All right, thanks, and back to you, Phil.
Thank you. Okay, listen to this. This is Yellen, okay, another genius.
As I read it, the economy, look at the labor market report last Friday, remains really solid.
Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie.
Unbelievable, really solid the economy, right? And then you got Kramer say this.
It all makes perfect sense if you're focused on individual stock picking, which is what our show's about.
Okay, Kramer's saying it's about individual stock picking, and that's what his show about. Go follow him. All right, let's see how he's done.
Now, you have to remember that a stock that falls 66%, like SVB Financial did last year, it takes it a lot more to recover. After losing two-thirds of your value, you need a 200% gain to get back to even. This is arithmetic. Some people call it geometry. So you could argue SVB's nearly 40% rally this year is barely a drop in the bucket. And that's how I want you to think it. I think it's also a good example of why these bounce-back moves might be far from over. These stocks could have more room to run.
Yeah, run right out the door with the deposits. Are you kidding? He said that 9 minutes before SVB crashed. Remember this?
Should I be worried about Bear Stearns in terms of liquidity and get my money out of there? No.
No. You know, they don't tell you the truth, do they? None of them do. It's not in their best interest to tell you the truth. But you don't need the truth to be successful in the stock market. You need information. You need to have the best tools, and that's what we have. And you're going to learn that being with us for 10 days. I mean, you do it online, okay? And we'll be assisting you, we'll be teaching you. You'll learn how to sell short. You'll understand how to use the bond yields to make a decision whether you buy or sell. I mean, just like I showed you when he said to buy CVS. If you recall, I said, we'll take the opposite side. We'll short against him. They're up 7%, and his people was losing 7%. Because my color-coded chart worked perfectly. It's solid red. So we have the best tools, the best teachers, and all you need to do is for the first 10 days, doesn't cost you a penny, see if it works for you. That's all. So go to philsgang.com, click where it says Get Started. And again, this market is not, the only way this market could ever go up with all the damage being done to it. I mean, the debt is horrendous. The debt the debt and deficits are killing us, but they won't tell you that. Killing us. We have a higher probability of going down by 30, 40% than we do going up. And as I said, remember, watch the spiders. If they get above 430, that's good. But it's got to hold for at least 2 weeks, solid 2 weeks, with good volume. Now, if it hits 430, stops there for a day or 2, 3, then it comes back down through 430, get ready. The market's going to collapse. Same thing with the Qs. If it hits that 330, 340, right in that area, it's got to stay there for 2 solid weeks with good volume. If all of a sudden it's there 1 or 2 days, turns around, breaks back down, the market's going to go down 30, 40% or more, even 60% it could go down. But you shouldn't have to worry about the market. And at the end of your 10 days, you're going to at least know, you're going to say, I get it. I get what they're doing. I get what they're teaching. It makes sense. And the other thing that makes sense is you don't go with 1 million stocks. Kramer gives you a stock a day. Unbelievable. It's crazy. So we stay with our portfolio that we're in all year long is our spiders, our Qs, and then gold, AU's the symbol, and then Apple, JP Morgan. So there's, you got the best tech, best bank, more gold, MRO. That's a great refiner. We're in that refiner. And then we have retail, Target, and we have a great industrial, Boeing. You don't need any more stocks than that. Then we have what we call is our stable of stocks. This is our bonus stocks. And we stay with the same bonus stocks, and we buy them when they're in good shape, or we short them. But we stay with Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Google, and NVIDIA. Then the banks, we stay with JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citi, Morgan Stanley, and Wells Fargo. Then staples, we stay with CMG, Capoli, and then we stay with Hershey, McDonald's, Starbucks, and Darden Restaurants. Those are the best of the best. That's all you got to watch all year long. And then you apply what we teach you. You're following the money. You're not following the jibber jabbers. And I'm so sick of hearing Kramer every day telling people, he knows the CEO, so buy this. How's that worked out for you? Terrible. Terrible. So the stock market is in deep trouble because they're not fighting inflation the way they should be fighting inflation. They're fighting the wrong thing. They're hurting the consumer. And when you hurt the consumer, you're hurting productivity. And when you're hurting productivity, are you kidding? You're hurting lifestyle. You're hurting savings. I mean, do you realize our savings is at a historic low and our credit card debt is a historic high? And she's telling us, well, how great the economy is? She's saying it's solid?
As I read it, the economy, look at the labor market report last Friday, remains really solid.
Solid? What is she looking at? We have an inverted yield curve. That hasn't changed. The same reasons that took us down 38% in November of 2021, they're still with us. Inverted yield curve, historic debt and deficits. Although Biden says it has nothing to do with him. Nope, don't look to him. Our economy is shrinking. We just got the numbers. Went from 2% to 1%. How is that solid? If your economy is shrinking, your GDP is shrinking, your economy is not growing, how can she lie and say it's good? How could she do that? Because any of these people on these shows, when their mouth is moving, you know there's a problem. We have record commercial debt. We have debt out there, I think it's about $3.2 trillion. $1.7 trillion is already dead foreclosure stuff. But guess what they've been doing? They've been shifting it off their balance sheet to another balance sheet so they don't have to account for it. So when their earnings come out, you don't see it. Remember they did that with the subprime loans? They shifted all the bad loans to the Federal Reserve. So you didn't see it on the bank sheets, bank balance sheets. Our commercial debt is huge. Now, what about corporate debt? All these people, remember what they were doing? These CEOs were borrowing money at 1%, 2% to buy their own shares. Now they're paying 8%. They can't handle it. They're losing money. And she's saying, things are good? Solid? That's solid? We have record rent defaults. Record auto debt, record credit card debt, record student loan debt. We got defaults. And we have a destruction, they purposely destroyed our oil independence. And that's where a lot of inflation comes from. So again, inflation doesn't come, from wages. Inflation, again, you want to see real inflation, comes right from that, destroying our oil independence, destroying our pipelines. So again, they got us looking. They're working on the wrong thing when it comes to fighting inflation. It's not wages; it's the corporate debt. Well, how do we do that? How do you fight corporate debt? We'll talk about that tomorrow. It's easy. You don't put price restrictions on them. None of that nonsense. But you can do it. Now explain tomorrow. Join me. philsgang.com. Join the gang tonight. philsgang.com. Free for 10 days.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.